At 6:14 in the morning, you open the envelope. The kitchen is still dark. The coffee maker clicks behind you. Inside is your final pay stub. Net pay, $1,846.32. You read it twice. For 38 years, another one came every other Friday. Not always enough, never early, but it came. This one does not have a next one behind it. On the counter sits a yellow pad. House, paid. Car, paid. Savings, $400,000. Social Security, $1,470 a month. You draw a line under the numbers. No debt to speak of. A 2019 Toyota, a 2-bedroom house, one pension-sized promise from the government, and $400,000 saved in pieces too small to remember. It looks like enough. That is the word you use. Enough. Then the refrigerator starts humming. A paid-off life still sends bills. Your first retired Friday feels ordinary. That bothers you a little. At 7:05, you stand in the driveway with no place to be. The newspaper is damp at the fold. Across the street, a pickup backs out for work. You lift one hand. The driver lifts his. Then he is gone. You worked maintenance at a food plant. Boilers, conveyors, motors that failed on the coldest morning. Your blue shirts had your first name stitched over the pocket. Now 6 of them hang clean. You keep them for a month. By the 3rd week, you have found the difficult hour. Not morning, afternoon. At 2:30, the house is too quiet. You used to be checking gauges then, carrying a radio that interrupted every thought. Now you check the mailbox before the carrier comes. You start walking 2 miles after lunch. Same 4 streets, the same cracked sidewalk past the elementary school. On Wednesdays, you meet 2 former co-workers at a diner. Coffee is $2.65. One still wears his plant badge on his belt, out of habit. Nobody says he misses work. Nobody leaves before 10:15. Time becomes visible when nobody is buying it. You retired on January 3rd. You are 62. Your full benefit at 67 would have been $2,100 a month. You claim now. At 62, with a full retirement age of 67, the reduction is 30%. Your first check is $1,470. The choice is not dramatic. You want the check. You want fewer withdrawals. You want the decision finished. 5 years of waiting looks different when Friday has stopped arriving. Relief often resembles certainty. The health card expires on January 31st. Medicare does not begin until 65. That leaves 35 months. You find a marketplace plan. The premium, after the tax credit on the application, is $612 a month. The deductible is $6,900. You stare at both numbers. The first buys the card. The second waits behind it. Your estimated income sets the subsidy. Social Security counts. Taxable withdrawals count. So every December you estimate a year that hasn't happened yet. For your first full year without a paycheck, you type $33,840 into a white box. That is $17,640 from Social Security, 12 checks, and $16,200 you plan to draw from the IRA. You keep $48,000 in the bank. The other $352,000 sits in a traditional IRA, in the same plain funds you owned at work. Your planned withdrawal is $1,350 a month. The check and the withdrawal together give you $2,820 before taxes. Not rich, not trapped, just watched. You thought retirement meant leaving a system. Instead, one system hands you to 3 others, each with its own password. Freedom has paperwork. In April, the property tax bill arrives. $3,184. You set it beside the insurance renewal. $1,742. The house is paid off, but the county does not know that. Neither does the insurer. Neither does the furnace, which starts a metal tapping at 2:11 one morning. The repairman replaces an igniter. $386. In June, the gutter pulls loose. $240. In August, the water heater leaves a rust ring under the valve. $1,460. None of it is a crisis. That is almost the problem. Crises earn attention. Ordinary costs just pass through. You start a house column on the yellow pad. Taxes, insurance, repairs, utilities. The first year totals $10,972. No mortgage. Still $914 a month. Paid off is not free. On the last day of every month, you log in. January, $398,870. February, $397,941. March is better. April is not. The market moves while you sleep. Your withdrawals move only one way. By December 31st, the two accounts total $389,600. You withdrew $23,200. $16,200 was planned. $7,000 was the water heater and the bank reserve. The balance fell $10,400. You understand the difference. Returns soften the withdrawal. Next year they may not. You once heard about the 4% rule. Take near 4% of the savings the first year, adjust that dollar for inflation. Historical research tested it across roughly 30-year retirements. It was never a promise. Your $16,200 is 4.05% of $400,000. Close enough to sound comforting. A guideline does not pay a furnace bill. It only gives the bill a frame. The tax return for that first full year arrives with a surprise. You had estimated $33,840 of income for the marketplace. Then the water heater failed. Then you drew another $7,000 to keep the bank reserve near $48,000. The extra taxable income changed the credit you qualified for. At the kitchen table, your preparer turns the monitor toward you. Repayment, $742. You had not hidden income. You had not made a mistake. Your estimate met a year that refused to match it. You write the check on April 8th. The memo line says taxes. What it really says is water heater. At 64, the grocery store changes shape. You notice prices before food. Eggs, $4.39. Coffee, $11.49. The soup you bought at $2.29 is $2.79. You hold 2 jars of pasta sauce under the light. One is 40 cents cheaper. You take it, then feel faintly irritated for noticing. Not ashamed, not frightened, just tired of translating everything into months. New tires are half a withdrawal. The tax increase is 3 dinners a month. A leaking faucet is 2 tanks of gas. Your Social Security check does change. Annual cost of living adjustments raise it when the formula calls for one. It is not frozen at $1,470 forever. But the smaller starting check stays the base. Claiming at 62 did not change 1 year. It changed the number every later raise builds on. Percentages remember where they started. 3 months before your 65th birthday, a red, white, and blue card arrives. You set it beside the old marketplace card. The gap is nearly over. That year, 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $202.90 a month. It comes straight out of your Social Security. With drug coverage and a supplement, your premiums total $419. That is $193 less than the marketplace premium. You circle the difference. Then you do not spend it. You move the $193 to the house reserve because the roof is 19 years old. At the dentist, a crown is $1,280. Medicare does not turn every cost to zero. It changes the map. Still, the card feels lighter in your wallet. Not because care is free, because the 35-month bridge is behind you. Some milestones are just expenses that stop. On your 67th birthday, you eat a turkey sandwich at the kitchen counter. No candles. You remember the old estimate, $2,100 at 67. That was the full benefit shown the day you retired. Waiting would have grown the base. Claiming at 62 made it 30% smaller. You open a calculator, then close it. The early checks covered 60 months with no paycheck. The later ones stay smaller than the full version would have been. Both facts fit on the same yellow pad. You do not call the choice right. You do not call it wrong. You call it made. Some decisions stop being choices and become arithmetic. Your nephew calls on a Tuesday evening. He uses the word opportunity 4 times. A small commercial cleaning business is for sale. Contract signed. 2 vans. Room to grow. He needs $35,000. Not a gift, he says. An investment. He can pay you back in 3 years, maybe sooner. You hear dishes in the background, your sister asking him something from another room. You want to be the man who says yes. You have $356,800 then. $35,000 is less than 10%. It is also 25 months of planned withdrawals. You open the yellow pad while he talks. The roof, the car, the next tax bill. The number 35,000 sits beside all three and makes them look smaller than they are. You tell him you cannot do it. Your voice comes out formal. He says he understands. The call lasts 11 more seconds. Afterward, you rinse a coffee cup that is already clean. What you feel is not quite guilt, more like the loss of an old identity. For 38 years, money meant you could help. Now money also means you can continue. Enough draws boundaries before it buys comfort. At 68, the roofer lays 3 shingles on your kitchen table. Good, better, best. The estimates are $12,600, $15,900, $19,400. You choose the middle one, not because the brochure wins you, because the warranty is 10 years longer, and you are tired of buying the cheapest thing twice. The check leaves the bank reserve. Your savings fall to $321,700. For 2 days you do not log in. Then rain comes at 3:40 in the afternoon. You stand in the hallway and listen. No drip in the spare room. No bucket under the stain. The $15,900 is gone. The roof is there. Spending is not always loss. Sometimes it is the sound that does not happen. At 70, the Toyota has 118,000 miles. A mechanic quotes $1,760. You pay it. A newer used car would be $24,000 before tax. The old one starts every morning, and the seat holds the shape of you. You keep it. Your Social Security is larger now, after years of COLAs. So are the bills. Property tax, $3,918. Home insurance, $2,406. Your planned $1,350 withdrawal has become $1,590. Not through one decision, through 20 small ones. The balance is $289,400. You divide by $1,590, then multiply, then stop. The math ignores returns, taxes, repairs, and time. You know that. You do it anyway. Recounting is not planning. It is a way to quiet the room. At 75, an IRS table joins the kitchen. Most of your money is still in the traditional IRA. Because you were born after 1959, required minimum distributions begin at 75. The first is the prior year's balance divided by a life expectancy factor. The government has stopped asking whether you feel ready. Your amount for the year is $10,180. You are going to take more than that anyway, so nothing dramatic changes. That surprises you. For months, the phrase sounded like a new expense. It is not. It is a minimum taxable withdrawal, and your usual draw already clears it. You write RMD beside December. Then you make lunch. Some rules arrive louder than their consequences. At 76, the yellow pad is nearly full. The first page still says $400,000. The last page says $238,900. Between them are 14 years of property taxes. 1 roof, 2 crowns, 3 sets of tires, a refrigerator, a furnace blower, Christmas checks of $100 to each grandchild, and 1 untouched line, $35,000. Your nephew found another investor. The business lasted 22 months. Nobody mentions the call now. You do not feel vindicated. You feel older. That is different. The money did what money does. It moved from numbers into objects. Premiums, repairs, groceries, and quiet refusals. The balance is smaller. The life is not missing. Enough was never the $400,000. It was the distance between what came in and what went out, recounted month after month. At 6:14 one winter morning, you open another envelope at the same counter. The coffee maker clicks behind you. Inside is the property tax bill. You read it twice. Then you reach for the yellow pad. There is no final number, only the next honest one.